Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to make sure you know all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on all new episodes of Wade's World, Boob Windows and Long Boxes, our Hard R movie reviews, and so much more, all completely uncensored. Access starts for as little as $1 a month, full videos when you pledge $3 a month. Check us out at the link in all of our show notes, or just go straight to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Parrish, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
I'm Kelly Thompson, and you're listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Miss Kelly Thompson, who will be joining us again in the fall for a little project we're working on.
I was going to say, I see you starting the buttering up early.
Oh, yeah, you got her last night. Anyway, welcome back to the Capes and Lunatics podcast. I am Phil, joining me as always, that ray of sunshine. No, not that one. The one from New Jersey, it is.
The king of the topless movie reviews, Charlie, the Professor Esser.
And
we're going to get that money for Patreon, buddy.
The queen of,
there's a whole community out there for it, let me tell you.
The queen of the Florida Panhandle, it is.
No, I'm South Florida. Little Hellfire.
Front building down to this week. And the Superman with the bedroom eyes, it is.
Me, Tyler, the blue shirt man.
Always in blue.
I have I just got this for Father's Day. It was one of my last presents that was Jania found and said that she liked it because it was different and it was in back order, so it arrived yesterday.
It's very pretty. Very nice. It's a good
a
good look for you. I like that. I like that shade. That's a very light blue.
Yeah.
Like a powder.
And that's what made her appealed by it. She's like, "Oh, that's cool."
Oh yeah. Women love the pastels. As you can see from our pink lady Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
Sailor Death. Anyway.
You can be pretty and deadly at the same time.
Sure.
As I like to feel I am.
No, you're not deadly. You're more of a cuddle monster.
We gotta get a D&D game going with Tristan. I feel like he would be just a very good dungeon master. He's like, actually, you're gonna get a -2.
Like, would it be like D&D, that song by Stephen Lynch? Like, and if you don't know that song, please
stealing your identity.
Just go look that song up. It's pretty funny.
If Tristan was a DM, you would be fighting animatronics. I'm just giving you that warning right now.
I'm down with that.
Yes.
Oh, Dungeon Master, yeah.
Yes.
I would do that. Even if my friends protest, I would.
Father, what do you think?
Yes.
Master?
He would do that, he says, even if his friends protested.
That's what makes you a good dungeon master.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad I got this bottom row here tonight because what's the story?
Oh, what did DC do now?
No, no, not that, not yet. No, I was gonna say, what's the story with the Supernatural prequel, and why did they not tell Jared Padalecki till the last second?
Well, because I guess so. What I read from it was basically Jensen Ackles going to narrate it, like he's telling a story.
Oh, like
I guess, yeah. But here's my question: what is the show? Okay,
I think it's going to be John, but like now the people that played John and Mary are so old that they can't play. Do you know what I mean? Not to be ageist.
Right. They can't even use the John and Mary that they used like season 4 or 5 when they did went back in time.
Yeah.
The song remains the same episodes.
Or maybe we just do the Campbells. Maybe it's all about the Campbells.
But it's called the Winchesters, and it's supposed to be about John and Mary.
It's going to be Mary's side of the family, maybe.
But the Campbells, okay, so let's jump back.
Oh,
the Campbells were Mary's
Winchester house
family.
Okay,
yeah.
So the Campbells were Mary's family, and she left hunting to marry John. And John knew nothing about it. Then we do have the
John stuff after she died.
Right. But I'm just like, if they do that, then why? I mean,
they should have just gave us the Samuel Colt animated prequel that we wanted. Is it just me? Was I the only person that wanted that?
I think it would have been awesome, but my thing is,
even Ghostfacers at the time would have been the better option.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is just the whole point was Mary gave up the life and married John. John knew nothing about it, knew nothing about his father's heritage of who his father was and what was going on, And then, John got sucked into it. And then the story that we have is his children from then forward. So are we just going to watch John drag around two boys? And it's going to, the last episode of The Winchesters is when Dean shows up to pick Sam up from college. And then it's just one big show. You just keep watching.
I don't know what's going on.
Listen, we tried. Look, Supernatural doesn't work for prequels. It's one of those shows where the fandom is just, you tried it and we didn't like it. We didn't even like Wayward Sisters, for God's sakes, which was what everybody was begging for. They gave us that backdoor pilot, technically. Nobody wanted it. We want the boys. That's it.
Then maybe what the answer is you don't know what you want. Let's see what it is.
No, Supernatural fandom had 15 years. We are a very well-defined fandom that knows exactly what we want, what exactly works. We don't mind a formula. And sequel sister shows just don't work for this. We tried everything.
I mean, think about Supernatural ran for 15 seasons. It had 2 failed spinoffs, but yet
3. Ghostfacers was technically a backdoor pilot.
And then a show like The Vampire Diaries had 2 spinoffs
that got picked up and are beloved.
Okay. And the thing is, Supernatural is built, and why fans liked it was because of the boys. Like she said,
the brothers.
You like Sam and Dean, and without them, you just don't really care unless you do something.
We like young John and Mary, but now we're way past that point. It's stop it. We had 15 seasons. It was a good run.
I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason why in the middle of that show they were winding down, and then all of a sudden, when it hit syndication, it started to tick back up, and then they were like, the whole plan was 5 seasons. That was it. That was the plan. And then they got there.
Kripke got his plan and he got the hell out of there.
And then they kept going. And then the show, like in its 7th and 8th season, all of a sudden hit the stratosphere of popularity. That's when you started seeing all the merch and Hot Topic and all of this. And then they just had to keep going. And
we need the money. Get me.
And now we have 15 years. And one of my favorite things is seasons 1 through 5 is canon, and then 6 through 15 are expanded universe.
Okay,
and I'm like,
so let me tell you kids about something that they just invented. It's called the retcon.
Where as Supernatural fans, we are very aware. We've had literally a million retcons. Literally.
So what
Charlie,
it is
everything after season 5 is a retcon because
even after season 3, I would go as far as season 3 when they started bringing in angels. He didn't want to do that. He was written into a corner because of that writer's strike.
Think about
you can't talk Supernatural with this, Charlie. You're gonna get your
I'm not talking Supernatural. I'm talking storytelling.
Well, I mean,
let's say but this is the thing. If we're going to do a prequel story, what you do in a prequel is you say, well, you know how we always said that X was X and Y was Y and what the heck's a Clone War? Now we're going to actually explain it. You may hate it. You may love it.
We already did that. That's the point. We had 10 extra seasons of that. There's nothing left.
Was it 10 extra prequel seasons?
But they
basically, we got the Men of Letters, which was basically a prequel. Oh, you never knew this about John's side of the family?
Yep. You got
You never knew this about Mary's side of the family. Like, we've done that. We've done everything.
We
even have an anime, for God's sakes. Like, come on.
It would have been interesting.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of lore built that they can now exploit in a prequel.
But nobody wants it, is what I'm saying. We've been there, we've done that. All the people that we know and love are too old.
And that's
none of the spinoffs have worked for a reason.
That is what people say every Star Wars episode, and yet it still makes billions, and now they've got Mandalorians running around.
Well, Supernatural fans actually put their money where their mouth is. That's the difference between us. We know what we like and we know what we don't. That's why those spinoffs failed, is the point that we're making.
Okay, first off, none of you has paid any money to watch any Supernatural show. We
buy the DVDs, we buy the merch, and I have literally at least $3,500 worth of merch just sitting in this room.
You do, but
and you have to technically pay to have the CW, because most people do not get it over the air. So technically you do.
Some people don't hang their kids out the window like you, Charlie.
Actually, no, you don't. The CW app is a free ad-supported app. You can watch it whenever you want.
Ad-supported! That's paying with your time! And frustration!
I understand.
I get what you're saying, Charlie. But if you look at the way that Supernatural was structured, they jumped around and they created storylines that were really unique, but then they would drop them. And if you got to season, I think 14 was like, honestly, the storyline from season 14 would have fit better like a season 7, because they went back and started hitting story beats that could have been done back then, because they had to retcon again to do more because people wanted the stories again for certain characters. And it felt like as if I started watching this, I went to college for a writing, and the show's going on. I get out, then get a job on the show as a writer. And I'm like, okay, remember how you guys screwed this back up in season 7? I'm going to fix this now.
It's like the people in IT who join a company to fix the bug and then quit. Exactly.
Well, I mean, no, the Lunatics taking over the asylum is an established trope in pop culture, in the way that any long story eventually has the Lunatics take over the asylum.
It's just not going to work. Mark my words. They're going to try.
No, well, you
say
it's not going to work, but things that don't work for Lilith Hellfire are a lot. And that doesn't mean that there's no difference in how successful they are.
I'm just saying that as a Supernatural fan that did a very successful Supernatural podcast for quite a while, I know this fandom inside and out, and so do the writers, and that's why they decided enough was enough at 15. They knew it's nothing left. This is the CW trying to jumpstart that fandom again. It's just you can't have it. Just when it comes to TV, lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice. It just doesn't.
It's very interesting.
It's going to be Joey. Do you want Joey? Because that's how we get Joey.
I like Joey. So actually, I would have loved to see
Okay, you're a wackadoo. We've established that.
If you look at how they created the villains, and then they had to they would go on and you took out this villain, but then they had to retcon something else off of that to create another hierarchy of villains to kind of give you another adversary and then another adversary. And
okay, listen, Supernatural is just hillbilly Dragon Ball Z.
Read comic books.
That's it. It's hillbilly Dragon Ball Z. We beat God. What could ever be next? The darkness. Leviathan. Let's fight God again.
I mean, they even did parallel Earths. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In season 4,
I'm sure they did.
15.
That's always a thing you do.
Yeah,
we've done it all.
Yes, of course.
They can try it, but it's not going to work. CW needs to put their money somewhere else.
It depends on who they get.
It's not that I assume. I know. It's a very well-worn track record. It's not going to work.
Charlie, it's interesting because if you study the fandom, it started out as a show geared towards males. And then like I said, when you get through those first 5-6 seasons and the fandom changed, they started writing and working the show more towards females because that's where their fan base had started to grow.
It's like episode of when they go discover that their lives are based on a book. That's what they thought the fandom was. Then you look at the musical. That's what your fandom really is. And if you know the Supernatural show, then you know what I'm talking about.
To make the point, you don't think they know who their demographics are? You don't think
nobody wants any more of it. We don't. We're done.
No, you don't. You don't, Lilith. You don't. But
Gen Z does not want Supernatural. I'm just telling you. Gen Z does not want Supernatural. It's an old-timer show.
Well, as an old-timer, you would know
somebody who knows about demographics and things, especially specifically for the CW, I'm just telling you. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Just like Legacies was kind of a bad idea. They were really pushing it.
Wayward Sisters would have been the best. That would have been the most
worlds.
Been the best spin-off series.
But that one girl who did that horror movie with Vince Vaughn, she really is took off, and that just kind of is what happened. She had a couple other TV shows, movies, things like that. So
it's just
they didn't strike while the iron was hot.
It's just like Heroes Reborn, Tyler,
when they tried, please don't.
When they tried to when they tried to.
Wait, are you talking about the TV show or the comic books?
TV show. It was it's coming back, and then it was it's gone, and don't talk.
Charlie just kicked Lilith. Why do you want to kick her now? Come on.
I know.
I'm not.
No,
I'm just saying that's what we don't want. We don't want that.
Let's just step back a minute. Heroes wasn't that big of a success to start with.
Actually, it was. It was. Ratings-wise, it absolutely freaking was. Now, did it go out on a sour note and a whimper? Yes. But during those first 3 seasons, it absolutely was a juggernaut for NBC. Again, a very successful podcast where I know the numbers. Please don't, Charlie. Please don't.
Okay. First
Please
off,
don't.
First off, you can't be a success for 1, 2, or even 3 seasons. That's not how
You
success is
absolutely
defined.
can.
Not in this industry. I'm sorry.
Okay, Charlie.
Not
Okay.
in the industry as it exists today. No one's looking for.
Well, that wasn't
3
today. That was
seasons.
10 years ago.
You know, yeah, I mean,
And 10 years
people were
ago, it was
struggling for
all
ratings.
about syndication.
it was all about getting
This
that
is what
100
happened.
That was 15, 20 years ago, syndication. 10 years ago was all about making it to that mark for streaming. Are you successful on streaming? And that's where we are. And now it's everybody wants their own streaming service. Adjust your numbers. I know you're a Gen Xer. Adjust your numbers.
I'm just saying.
I know it all
Heroes
rings
was
together
always-
because of the apathy. I know. I get it.
Heroes was always niche and genre. It may have had its time, but it was never. It was never
did
able to
numbers.
build.
That's like saying
It was
Lost
never able
was
to
no big
build
deal.
itself as a cultural
Thank
phenomenon.
you. Exactly
It
my
had
point. Thank you.
viewers.
It's like
It had
saying
viewers.
It had numbers, it had
Supernatural.
merch, it had buzz, it had it
Did
had
it
a
have
great
merch?
it did have
merch?
again, I literally have like $500 sitting in
That
this
you
room full
have
of
the
viewers.
merch. They made merch.
That are
I
limited.
had a Mr. Merlin lunchbox, Lilith. Okay, just because there's merch doesn't mean
That sells out.
it's
That's very
successful.
valuable on eBay. Yes. They had merch. They have books. They have lore. It's not a niche. I'm sorry, Charlie. Just because you weren't into it doesn't mean it's a niche.
No, I actually loved Heroes. I watched every episode, but I'm just saying, I know when something is dragging. I know when something doesn't have a story to tell.
And what really hurt it was the writer's strike again.
Well,
If we go back
this
in
goes to
time,
show
the
you, you
writer's
don't have
strike-
writers, you can't do nothing.
Well, that's not true. Soap operas go on. I'm just saying.
They film 6 months in advance.
So
More than that.
I'm just saying. I think the supernatural fandom is very well
Just out of
established. I think that
curiosity,
is
was
a
that
poor
dig at
idea.
soap opera writers, or was that a dig
They
at
got the
genre?
fans to write the show while it was on strike. That's how soap operas got around that. But
And some of them, well, weren't they like the one they shut down during COVID because they were like, oh yeah, we've like had it written. I don't know if they even like filmed like a year in advance or something. It was like
Well,
they
COVID
picked
shut a lot of
them
people
things
down.
out.
what is that? Days of Our Lives? Is that still on?
I don't
know
know.
Young and the Restless is actually still on, but I don't know about the rest of them.
There's only 1 or 2 left, isn't there?
Soap
Days of Our Lives
operas?
has to be one. I'll be
Fox
very
are cheaper.
disappointed.
I know,
somebody said
there's
good
a
one.
few. I know that I changed the channel after the news on channel 2. So
Yes.
you know, because that's when I think that's when Days of Our Lives. No, is it Days of Our Lives or is it All My Children?
Tyler, if Supernatural pulls off a freaking prequel spin-off series, I will eat a hat. I will roast it on my grill and eat it. I'll put it to you that way.
Oh, nice comp for, but YouTube content. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this: the real joy of a prequel is that it can be set in an ambiguous past, and since
But it's not an ambiguous past. We very much have it very well defined of that time frame. That's the problem.
You would have
1983.
You would have to find a way.
And yeah.
You'd have to find a way
Yeah,
to
but-
tell the story of a time frame that we like. The thing is, with Star Wars, things were alluded to, but in Supernatural, they spend time
Explicitly.
in the past, like with them as children with their father. So we know a lot of that story. We know a lot about what happened with their grandparents, their parents as teens. So to call it the Winchesters,
Bobby
Well, then
Singer.
maybe-
That's the spinoff we
maybe-
needed.
maybe they're going to be telling the story of the Winchesters arriving in Jamestown and fighting Gitchy Manitou. I don't know.
but then it would be
Maybe-
it would be about like the men of letters, because you have to get their grandfather to the men of letters, and he wasn't a fighter; he was an
He was a
intellectual.
thinker. He
So
was
the
a Sammy
Winchester
boy.
fighter was an intellectual.
Yes. So you had
You have
have
your
the-
Sam and you have your Dean.
you have basically what you find out is John Winchester. His father disappeared when he was a child because his father was a man of letters, which was the intellectual people who were more about gathering information, understanding, but not acting. His mother and their parents were hunters. So John knew nothing about what his father did. He marries Mary, who was a hunter. He's oblivious. His wife is murdered, and then he goes on his own road and discovers all the hunting and everything and becomes a hunter. And then years later, his children discover that their
But it was
grandfather
all
was.
destined to be.
Yeah, a Men of Letters.
Even
And-
pushed together, even, you know?
yeah, it was all
Okay.
part of the plan.
God's
So
will.
what you're telling me,
Explain.
now let me see if I get this straight, that there's this group called the Men of Letters that only study the mystic lore, and never once do any Men of Letters ever pick up a bat and hit a demon to find out more, because what more could we learn about demons if we conked one on the head?
That's what the hunters are for. Let them do the grunt work.
Oh, yes, because scientists love to let someone else do the dirty work. Scientists
Now,
love. Have you read No H.P. Lovecraft? You got to reanimate yourself. You want to do it.
You have the.
I'm telling you, there's so many stories to
H.P.
tell.
Lovecraft doesn't hold up in 2021.
But you have
his concepts
the
do. His
English.
characters don't. His concepts.
Nobody's help Brian.
You have the English Men of Letters. They did their own thing compared to the American Men of Letters and the Women of Letters, and they did their own thing that we got to learn.
And
about
we
as
even
well.
had a backdoor pilot for that nobody wanted, technically.
So what you're telling me is that there's a bunch of stories that could be
that
told.
nobody wanted. We've done the backdoor pilots.
but
We've done the
Again,
numbers.
Lilith, quit saying nobody when you mean you.
You can't call it
They're the lowest
Winchester.
rated episode, so nobody wanted it. I'm talking factual statistical numbers, not just what I want.
Now,
I want
Charlie-
a Wayward Sisters show.
And not even one
if you-
anywhere. So I would assume nobody wants.
Okay, well,
If you
or
would
the
do-
writers didn't want to take it anywhere, or the writers they had on it didn't know how to use the property.
That's not how it works at the CW. The CW sees ratings do the thing. We need
Well,
it.
they're doing a thing, so they have to. So, by your logic, by the transitive property of your logic, the numbers must be there for a story. You can't say they only work on numbers and then say nobody wants it. These are two incompatible theories you're proposing.
No, what you're thinking, Charlie, is numbers and logic. See, the point is the CW is already rebooting itself. They tried to reboot Roswell. They rebooted Charmed.
And it didn't work.
And now
logic to this.
Gen Z don't want none of this millennial smoke, bro. They don't.
Yeah.
They didn't like Black Lightning, and that show was woke AF, like annoyingly so. So I'm just saying, CW, stop chasing Gen Z. You have nobody knows what Gen Z wants. Ever since they ate the Tide Pods, they threw us off the scent. We don't know what they want.
They want animatronics and child murder. Talking to my children, that's what they want. Well, talking to the one child that still talks to me, that's what they want. Animatronics.
Now, are your kids Gen Z or are they Gen Alpha?
I don't know.
Because that's even different. That's even more different.
They were born this millennia in the aughts. They're aughts. They're children of the aughts. So
okay,
take it from there.
So Phil, how are you doing up there in the top?
Yeah, why'd you get me started on Supernatural? Let's talk something else.
I underestimated you, little Phil. I thought you were gonna be like, yeah.
You know I'm still pissed off.
I know.
I still haven't bought the freaking whole DVD set, so that's how you know I'm really upset.
I will say the best thing about Supernatural, the ending, is technically if you took one line of dialogue out of the final episode, you could put it anywhere you want in any season, at the end of any season. Because the series finale is technically an epilogue. So you could, if you're like, I'm going to stop at season 6 and then just cut and paste that episode in. You have to at least go past season 5. That's all I'm going to say. If you want the series finale.
Actually, if you put that epilogue on the end of season 5 instead of what we got, thank you, Sarah Gamble. Even though I love you, I hate you for season 6, 7, and that post credit for season 5. Yeah, that's where I would put the epilogue and never watch the following 10 seasons.
Yeah. Swan Song is a tough episode to watch. It was good.
Especially with that added on thing.
On that note,
moving along,
all I know is in the prequel they're going to actually meet the Scooby-Doo gang as children, and
They
that's
already
gonna
did
be
that.
exciting.
They already hooked up
as
with Scooby-Doo.
children. No, they're going to meet a pup named Scooby-Doo. That's when things get. That's when things.
I like Matt Pat's theory about how Supernatural actually changed the direction of what Scooby-Doo was and how there's actual magic. And real ghosts.
It altered the universe on a cosmological scale. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. No, that's canon.
That's where we can agree, Charlie. Our love for Matt Pat is where we bond.
MatPat is never wrong.
Oh, Grubhub Cinematic Universe, baby. Did you see the new one?
You cannot make a 2-ingredient flurry cake that tastes good.
Okay,
I think he probably put in too much flour. That's my actual thing, because he said he put 2 parts flour. I think if he did it 1 part, it's going to be a sticky cake, but it might taste better. So that's my thing on that right there.
Feels like I don't know what's going on. Why did I do this to myself? Phil, do you want to have something to talk about?
We get paid nothing for.
Phil just didn't want to talk right now, so he just thought he'd get us all on a ramble, and he just sit back and drink tea.
Exactly. He's like, why am I busting my butt every week?
Texting Ray right now. He's like, these idiots. I got them all riled up. Yes, dance, puppets, dance.
Here's a piece of meat. Fight, my magnificent beasts.
I'm now a meme. I hear that the prequel is supernatural, but that's none of my business.
Ain't none of my business either.
Anyway,
speaking of television, and Lil says this will never happen, but once again they're talking about AMC doing an interview with a vampire TV
Are they taking her son off the project? Because apparently he's the problem.
I don't know.
Okay, so I read an article that they had put out not too long ago, and talking about the changing they were making to the story and how they were going to set it in modern time and actually address the pandemic. And I was like, And they're going to, of course, change the ethnicity of Brad Pitt's character. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, Louis.
Yeah.
They're going to make him Creole?
I think so.
I mean, I guess it'd have to make him Creole. Although I'm not sure exactly at what point Louis was. I mean, Louis owns a plantation, so obviously. And was he in?
They're going to change that too.
He was Louisiana, so I guess he could be Creole. Yeah, I guess you could do it. You can do it.
They're changing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very oofy. I'm not saying it's not oofy, Lilith. Yes, it's very oofy. It's a choice. They're gonna make it.
You try so hard that you missed the point. Okay.
I'm like, does anyone remember when at one point they're going to do the series and Jared Leto was going to be Lestat?
I do remember that as a Jared Leto fan. Pre-Joker, pre-Hot Topic Joker, I was a fan.
I will say this: the Vampire Lestat's a fun read. Yeah. If you want vampire rock stars,
we need a real Lestat movie, not a mashing up of stories. Okay.
If you ever wondered what would Rockula be if it was a really extravagant, if you did Rockula the Broadway musical, that's the Vampire Lestat, and it's exactly what you want. It's beautiful. It's perfect. And as a book, I don't know, as a movie, as a series,
You do the trilogy.
First of all, I think Louis is a downer. I don't want anything based
on
Louis.
Right? We want Lestat all the time. Louis can
Lestat is Loki. That's the thing. Lestat is. I love being a vampire. What?
Hell, bring back Tom Cruise. What do I care? He hasn't aged in 40 years. He might be a vampire. Hey, he won Anne Rice over. I like him in that role. One of the few movies
honestly,
I actually like Tom Cruise.
You can put the man. He can wear very high heels.
Exactly, especially if we're going back to the 1700s. It'll be
exactly, and he's just like Sarah Jessica Parker. I can wear platform pumps, no problem. You can make me 8'6" if you like. I don't care. That's a Sex and the City reference for those who don't know. But
yeah.
I would love to see Tom Cruise back as Lestat. That is a Tom Cruise film I'm waiting for. And I get very mad. I don't think he did
this. We agree on, Charlie. This we agree on.
Because honestly, we got so little of him.
We got robbed. We did.
We were because they wanted to focus on Moody. I missed the color blue. Oh, yeah, I know.
Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, and Tale of the Body Thief. Boom.
Yeah, but
I also want the other. I want the other books as well too.
What?
So, the lore of freaking the Vampire Chronicles is amazing. I love when they do some flashback history lessons.
Yeah,
absolutely yes. Yeah. Give me that.
No, I don't think Tom Cruise was in anything after.
No.
They only did Interview and Queen.
Another movie after Interview, and it was
because they mashed two stories into one.
Yeah, I know, and it's if it's not Tom Cruise as Lestat.
I don't want it.
Reboot.
No
Just reboot.
offense, Stuart Townsend. You were a beautiful man.
No,
but really, we were only hanging on your coattails because you were with Charlize Theron.
But yeah, they tried to mash too much into that story.
Yeah, it was way too much.
And I would love to see Tale of the Body. Tale of the Body Thief was fun because it is literally Lestat being all Louis for a minute. It's like, oh, what was it like to be mortal? He's like, oh, I hate being mortal. Give me my body back. And then
yeah,
the body was like, sucker!
Yeah.
Sucks to be you. Guess you should have thought of that before you decided to be mortal, because like mortal being sucks.
Then you have to get his all-powerful body back. Yeah.
So they're trying to put it on AMC, really?
That's.
Do they even have the budget with all those Walking Dead shows?
They're wrapping that up.
Well. So Walking Dead is going to be on its last season, although it's going to be 24 episodes. But then once that's over, they're going to start the Daryl and Carol spinoff. Boy, I wonder if they survive.
So
don't they shoot that in like the woods? Is there much of a budget for that?
Fear the Walking Dead. Well, I guess like zombies and stuff. Every so often you have like.
I mean, that's a lot of extras to be zombies and stuff. Like Atlanta kind of taxes them heavy too. So.
I have Fear the Walking Dead. They had a nuclear submarine this time that turned off a nuclear bomb. So.
Well, you don't actually get a nuclear submarine for those. You actually just have to paint a set. That's literally a bottle show.
Fear the Walking Dead was kind of neat when it first started because I like the idea of giving us that show about how it all began. But then I felt like after just a few episodes, they just kind of like jumped into it. Like,
let's just keep giving Strand more and more chances to stab people in the back.
I like the build up idea of like where you were having these things happen and then you're like hearing about it and you're building the tension. It was just like going and then here it is. Now we're in it.
And they're like, then they killed off everybody except for 2 people. They brought in Morgan Joe. You know, he walked across the country from Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, so they're actually wrapping that up. So they're looking for their next big thing. I think that could be their next big thing, but they can't. They have to. I don't know. Like that just sounds
like in a horror.
I will say this:
horror vibe.
You can
do that Nosferatu show or whatever. So
the Joe Hill Nosferatu show. But what's funny is like, do you remember when HBO talked about that they were going to do the Watchmen TV series, and that was going to be like their next big like project, like Game of Thrones style, and then they came out like we're just doing. They're like we're going to do 1 season and we're done.
Well, that's because they hired Damon Lindelof, who was notorious for that.
So it's just kind of funny because they were pumping it up like it's going to be their next.
But
mega.
AMC desperately needs a new franchise, so that's what I'm saying.
Well, you know, and again, this goes to the writers, and that's really the thing is that, you know, the problem with Lovecraft Country, the problem with Watchmen is that if you don't have a writer who wants to do the work, and a lot of times you feel like money truck, but there are a lot of writers that said, no, you already gave me the money truck to write the first one. I don't need the money truck anymore.
Damon Lindelof still has lost money, so he really
exactly. It's like when you already have money, and it's this weird problem with an artist. It's like, but I already have money. You can't give me more money to make art that I don't want to make. And it's this problem because we're no longer, you know, what is happening is that the I want to be a billionaire drive is falling apart in America because obviously so few people can be billionaires anymore. So people are like saying, actually, I have more money now to spend than I could ever spend in my life as an artist. I could write fanfic for the rest of my life. And that is all I would ever have to do. I could like make low budget John Waters style films with my friends, and that's all I ever have to do for the rest of my life. And I wouldn't lose a cent. And artists are like, oh, I don't need you anymore. I don't need the Medicis anymore because I actually can now feed myself. So the answer is they actually have to start paying writers less and less so that they have the hunger.
I didn't know that becoming a billionaire was like an achievable goal that was out there. Like, did I miss that in guidance class? Like,
America? How long have you been living in America, Tyler? Yeah. We're all embarrassed billionaires. We're just waiting to make our fortune back.
We used to be embarrassed millionaires, but then being a millionaire
inflation, became cost of living doesn't, just keeps going up with inflation. So
I must have missed that. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos is a trillionaire, which is obscene, and I will say it every single show. So you can take a drink.
Wait, hold on. I gotta say something. Did you guys know that there is a petition being signed by people asking the governments of the world to not allow Jeff Bezos to come back into orbit when he goes on his space trip?
Guys, he's Lex Luthor. He didn't want to come back anyway. He's got a base on the dark side of the moon. He's going home.
And beyond that, the mentally ill will do all sorts of things. And you can want all sorts of things in life. You can also pray to God to hit him with a lightning bolt. And that's going to have about as much effect as anything else,
He's going home.
God
He
doesn't
doesn't
strike
want to
people
come
with
back,
lightning
guys.
bolts. Governments don't ban billionaires from landing in their country. Because all it takes is one country to say, hey, billionaire, come land in our country. Why don't you make Amazon now headquarters in Latveria? No one's going to mind here. We encourage supervillainy.
Walls are gonna.
I don't know. We're like 2 seconds away from eating the rich. I don't think it's a good time to leave Earth. That's all I'm saying. You're gonna come back like that one Russian astronaut, and your country doesn't exist anymore. Like that is my it's gonna be like the terminal.
Yeah,
yes, whatever.
It's gonna be Planet of the Apes. Like you go on a mission, you go up in space, you come back, and the Earth is overrun by
apes. Guillotines in Times Square.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a question about who's running the guillotines. That's what scares me.
He has to get up into space. God forbid he uses money to like cure cancer or something. Got to get in space.
He's Lex Luthor. He's not interested in cancer unless it's his own.
That kryptonite ring.
The funny thing about cancer is money is not a cure for cancer. It's
but you could fund research.
Yeah, and a lot of people are.
That's what they say. But they said that about AIDS too. I'm just saying.
Oh, true.
And they actually have really amazing retroviral treatments that can actually
now.
Yeah,
that you have to throw money at.
Yes, and it took many years to fix it. But cancer is something different than a viral infection. Cancer is an actual dysfunction of your internal cellular reproductive process.
There's a cure for anything if you have enough money.
Literally. Every person has a completely different cancer. So there is no cure for cancer.
Like I said, his cancer. He'll care about his cancer.
Like, do you know there's this car, man, the government has that runs on water?
Yes!
I have heard
now
that.
Now, that's a show we should reboot because we can't watch it anymore because of Hyde.
That doesn't work.
I mean, that's a show that could be now adapted to that 90s
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reboot show I would like to see.
Donna and Eric's kids, baby. Donna and Eric's kids.
I mean, that would be a really great or
that Married with Grandchildren.
I would love Married with Grandchildren,
but
actually, making a car that runs on water is actually really easy. You can make a car that runs on water.
Yeah, it's just a joke from that 70s show. Like,
no, I know, but the idea is, you just have to hydrolyze water, and then the thing is, it takes more energy to hydrolyze the water than you get in the combustion process of water.
Hashtag greedy gas company.
I was going to say, Charlie, shh. Just waiting for the sniper shot. Shh.
There's something called the conservation of energy. Okay, I know Newton was in on the conspiracy. That's why they made him the head of Hydra. I know my deep Marvel lore.
Oh, they gave him the cookies.
That's why he's the head of Hydra.
Can we talk about comic books for the love of
God?
God?
For 5 minutes. But this one has to explain the process of water cars and cancer. This one has to talk about the billionaires going into space.
Hey, that was just. I literally was laughing at that. Like, wow.
So I got DC.
Y'all gonna leave my future husband alone, okay?
Oh.
If anybody's gonna do something to Jeff Bezos, it's gonna be me, and that's gonna be me taking half everything he has. Mark my words.
And that's how Lilith buys DC.
How?
Didn't somebody already take half of everything Jeff Bezos has?
No, that was Bill Gates, baby doll. Although I would give well, yeah, he did get a divorce, but she actually didn't get that much. Shut up and don't tell the government.
Do we even know if Bezos is straight? That's all I'm saying. Because I do have.
Well, sexuality is a spectrum.
Shut up.
And where there's a crack, there's a will, there's a way. That's all I'll say.
It's a giant size man thing.
I'm just saying.
No, I don't think he's giant size. That's why he's a billionaire.
Shut up and just lay there.
So, comic books, boys.
All right, yeah, because I don't know how much more time Tyler has. Tyler, did you get any comics this week?
What did I buy this week? Let's check.
Oh, there's Superman and Action came out this week, so I
so Superman Action and Batman Superman came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, first of all, Batman Superman has been really good, And I actually liked that it felt like it's the only book that's kind of taking advantage of like the new front or infinite frontier idea, where they're actually exploring other versions of the characters. And then this book gets canceled here in a couple of issues.
Oh, is it?
At 22, they're canceling it.
When it's good, they're like, nope, can't have that.
So yeah, they announced that issue 22, they're canceling it.
So you like that story where, like, I mean, this alien is basically creating all these parallel worlds, and it's like looking for the perfect one, and he just like destroys them. So we were getting like, what was that, like 30s?
Yeah, it was like it was a world like where Batman was on one and Superman was on the other, and then like the whole like film idea was really neat, and then falling into each other, and then you have Batman and Superman together who are from two completely different worlds and different times, and it was a good story.
Is this Dr. Manhattan stuff again, or is this Wally West stuff again, or is this someone else?
It's alien thinking worlds.
Yeah. It was
as DC does from time to time.
It was just a new like I said, they have that whole infinite frontier. I just don't think they're really taking advantage of that concept. I mean, it would be cool if like your Batman Superman book was a completely different Batman and Superman the whole time. Or you had a book that was like Superman of Earth, whatever, which is like you're back to telling Golden Age stories, or you have like you're continuing stories from the New Frontier era or whatever, like really expanding your line away from your main Earth.
Well, they're bringing Brent Riley back, so I mean they figured out that old people are the ones buying the books, not new people. So
yeah,
get off my lawn.
That's Marvel. That's Marvel, Lilith. That's a whole.
I'm just saying,
company.
even DC is kind of like
they're
bringing back Wally West.
Wally West coming back in the Flash suit. Woohoo!
Well, I mean, one thing that I always like wish that DC would do, or something like I really like that Marvel, and it showed that it worked, is when they did the whole Ultimates line. They kept their current continuity, but then built a whole secondary universe to entice readers in, starting over and retelling stories. And I mean, most of your MCU. Isn't that what we
do when new teams leave now? Though is basically it's.
But the thing is, but then it throws it back into, continuity. But think about if you started over everybody in a separate universe where you don't have to tie and do anything that's ever been done before.
And just Silver Age.
No, because the New 52 took over the current continuity. They didn't keep that. But when they did Ultimates, they launched a whole second line. Like you still had your continuing Spider-Man, but then you had this new Ultimate Universe. And then even in the new
MCU2 MC2 will always be better.
What you want is a new Silver Age. You want them to just say, okay, these are our core concepts. Let's reimagine them. Let's see what is the new Flash. What is the new Green Lantern?
Well, I mean,
this New Frontier's supposed to be, but they're not doing it.
That's the thing with the Ultimate Universe. It's like it was like this fresh thing, but after like 10 years, it's got its own continuity, and it was just like,
exactly.
Who's live? Where's it?
You could be reading Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, and Ultimate Avengers, and just be enjoying that universe, not having to have the knowledge or going back to just regular Spider-Man or anything like that. You had your own world over here.
You can get hell off my lawn too.
So
yeah,
I just think
which
something
would be
like
great.
that.
And they kind of do that with the TV universes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're talking about the books.
Yeah. Well, then they try to reverse engineer that with Smallville season whatever, and they put out comic books that tie into the shows, but no, they're not bold enough to risk an investment in a new universe, and that's their problem. Here's what I'll say. If nothing else, you can say this about Jim Shooter. He ripped the Band-Aid off.
Take a drink.
He said, build a new universe. And everyone delighted in blowing it up. But they said, well, we built a new universe once. Why don't we just do it again? And that's the thing. And that is what gets you Heroes Reborn, which failed, and then Ultimates, which succeeded. This idea that we can just build a new universe in the next timeline over, that's something that is that's actually something that's well established in DC, but they never want to pull off the Band-Aid.
But I'm just saying,
or arguably they have, but they just keep on going back to Earth 1.
They just keep doing it in continuity. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. That's why people get mad, because the core readers are like, stop rebooting it. I just want to keep going with my characters. You know, but if you just did a reboot over here and you had, I could buy 2 books. I could buy Superman and I could buy
well, that's what they tried to do with Earth 1. They did the Earth 1 universe.
But those books
which
are
I
all...
think was part of New 52, right?
No, they were complete side Elseworld story. But the Earth 1 was graphic novels, 1 character. You have Earth 1 Superman in 3 volumes, Earth 1 Batman now in 3 volumes, but they don't ever cross. There's no universe. You have Earth 1 Wonder Woman in her 3 volumes.
Oh, well, that's their problem then. They're not doing that.
They just did Elseworld graphic novels as if the heroes were reimagined, but they're not with... It's not a whole universe.
They don't touch
Crazy notion. Else. They should go to Earth 3. If they made an Earth 3,
well, I could,
and reboot it as a separate universe, that might be a good idea.
The last couple of years, they had the Justice Society on Earth 2 again, and now they folded them back in because I don't know if that concept.
DC's a mess until Warner Brothers gets its executive leadership together and decides who actually owns it.
Well, you know what the problem is that once you have pan-dimensional travel in one universe, people say, well, why don't they visit it? Because they have pan-dimensional travel in the other universe.
Because it's against the law. Leave it alone.
Yeah, forgetting the fact that just because something exists on the other side of the universe and we've invented boats doesn't mean we're going to go to the other side of the universe to go to it, you know? The Americas was mostly, you know... just with its inhabitants for a quite long time until Europeans finally decided to go there.
All right, let's not get bogged down. Let's get to some books, okay?
Okay, yeah, sorry.
All right. Hey, speaking of
this episode,
Checkmate #1, yes.
Did you read it?
I did.
Oh my god, I thought you were.
Oh my gosh, how did that come out and I didn't? Oh, fudge on a cracker.
I just had to see what Brian Michael Bendis was up to.
So what?
I wanted to see that too.
What did you think, Lilith? Mark Shaw, if you weren't reading comics in 1988, everyone's like, who's he? Kidnaps Damien and Talia. What do you think?
I know. I'm just like, what? I actually like it and I hate myself for it.
What do you think about Allie being like a Leviathan?
Well, I was like, you had to go put salt in that wound, but okay, I'll allow it.
Bendis had the poo-poo all over our childhood.
Bendis.
It's what he does, but I still enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I really like the artwork that what is that? Alex Mevley or whatever.
Maleev. Yeah, he did a lot of Bendis' Daredevil. Yeah.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
So they vibed really well together.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited about Checkmate.
And for some reason, I think Bendis has like a thing for Green Arrow now because he's a big in this, and then he confirmed in this week's Justice League. Now that Bruce Wayne's like cash poor, Oliver Queen's keeping the Justice League afloat.
Well, that's kind of a nod to the Justice League on cartoon series.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting because I feel like Batman is a character that doesn't work well without money.
I mean, he's not like poor. I mean, he's got a nice fancy townhouse and a bunch of like little caves around the town, but
you think about where they've evolved the character to.
Oh yeah, Alfred left him $1 million.
Oh yeah.
I said I want the scene where Bruce has to come to Dick Grayson for money. I want for that.
Hey, remember all those times? I was like, well, here, put on the Robin suit.
Remember when you smacked me around? Well, He's like, why do
I have to put on the Robin suit? Because I don't want to get shot. Boom.
Oh, I heard an even better one. This today, Lil. Why is Batman's bottom of his face open on his mask?
I don't know.
Well, 1 for Catwoman, but also 2 so the cops know he's white.
Okay.
Works on a lot of levels.
Yeah, hey, it's a controversial stance, but it's
I'm not
going to say it's not true.
Right, don't shoot.
Stay off of Tumblr, Phil.
Yeah. Anyway.
You have to pick up Checkmate. I think you will really enjoy it, Charlie.
Oh, I really wanted to get that, so now I have to reach out.
You're the one that mentioned it to me, and I pick it up, and you don't even pick it up.
No, man, I'm always running on Wednesdays in the middle of the day trying to get my comics. I don't got time. I got like a ton of comics I already got pulled. I didn't know what came out this week. You know,
and I
don't always read. Here's what comes out next week from my comic guy. You know, I have to.
And the bad guy's trying to recruit Lois Lane. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Good luck.
No. Well, no. I mean, she's very amoral.
She'll go undercover. That'll be the twist.
True.
Well, I mean, she'll do what she needs to do to get a story. You know.
Yeah.
She's a career woman.
Yeah, but now the whole world knows.
That's why Clark stays home and raises the kids.
Yeah, but now the whole world
until
knows.
his dad comes, and then he gives.
Why would you try to mess with Lois Lane? The whole world now knows who her husband is. So it's like, do you really want to be bringing that kind of heat?
Yeah.
He can fry you from the sky, Charlie.
Well, yeah, but you know.
And, I love.
Well, don't even get me started on wives who are.
Whoa.
Yeah, I read Fantastic Four Life Story.
Okay.
It does not get better.
Okay. I was gonna say,
we'll save that for super connectivity, but no.
Yeah, no, Fantastic Four Life Story. Oh.
Okay, nobody saw Black Canary, but I kind of want to see Green Arrow and Talia al Ghul. Just so he can say he's better than Bruce in bed. I'm just saying.
Well, you know, Green Arrow.
He ain't got that flavor saver for nothing, okay?
Hey, since we're talking Talia al Ghul and Green Arrow and Batman,
Robin.
Can we talk Robin?
Yes.
Sure.
So here's a real.
He's alive?
Apparently, that was just a fake out. I was so disappointed.
You can die. It's a video game, basically. You can die 3 times on Lazarus.
You get 3 lives on this. Yeah, it's
yes.
not good. As stories go, this is. I mean, I get you have to build. Here's what I'll say: the first 2 issues, as often happens with me in DC books, first 2 issues very good. 3rd issue is I'm like, okay, but maybe it's a building issue, so I'm going to get to issue 4. We're going to see where it goes. Is Connor Hawke the daughter of Talia al Ghul as well in this universe?
You mean the son?
Well, it's son, whatever. I don't know.
Like, wait a
They
minute.
didn't state his gender in the show, so
Connor. I mean, unless they're changing it, no, it was no.
Okay. I don't know who Connor Hawke. I don't know his whole lineage, but he's in the League of Shadows now, and
his mother was no one you would have known. It was just somebody Oliver Queen got.
Who raped Oliver? So hey, him and Damien are products of sexual assault. So good on that. On the woman's side.
Well, we have that. We have them bonding, which is nice.
Over their dads, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, "Oh, my
your
dad
dad's a knockoff of my dad."
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, it's like literally. Oh, your dad has a sex thing for. They know their dad's kinks. That's not good.
No.
Okay.
Well, they always
saying.
Well, black leather suits. I mean, enough said.
Well, your father has a thing for themed vehicles. Your father used to have a cave, putting children in danger always.
I love that it's actually Oliver Queen who mentioned, or Connor Hawke who mentions his dad has a cave. Does your dad have a cave? Yeah, he's a cave.
Why did he call it the arrow cave when he could have called it the quiver? What an idiot!
But
here's what's interesting. I actually am most fascinated by Pennyworth in this, who is an active character.
Oh, because he's I don't know if Damien's like hallucinating Alfred. Yeah.
Or it's the ghost of freaking Alfred manifests as a Force ghost.
I mean,
it's
it is
comic
Lazarus
book still.
Island.
It's a magic island that we're obviously, and honestly, here's my biggest problem with this is that it's like, oh, yeah, there's an idol that everyone has to sacrifice to, but you have to be a willing sacrifice. So they say you get to die 3 times, but on the 3rd time you can leave. But if you stay, that's you consented. That's legally binding. So yeah, that's their thing. They're trying to resurrect Cthulhu or some nonsense, and it's nice to see the Connor Hawke stuff. And then they, yeah, and then they throw Robin off a cliff, but of course he's saved by dear old granddad. Yay! And why he's all dressed in rags, I don't know. I don't follow these stories, so I don't know. But I guess
I think it's gonna
maybe he's fallen out of favor in the League of Shadows too.
Or maybe he's just on holiday for meditation, trying to lead a simple life. Or maybe he's on the con with another rich billionaire. Who knows?
Or maybe the League of Shadows just got tired of his BS and said, you know what? Why are we following you just because you found the Lazarus pit? Aren't you just some dude? You know? Really?
He's a demon! Put some respect on that name!
Yeah, that's just fancy. That's just Latin for the dude.
All right, Lil, you got a book?
Mr. Miracle. Did anybody read that?
Oh no, I did not. Is that I was thinking about picking that up the last time.
I'm surprised you didn't. Yeah, the Source of Freedom #2. I love this artwork by Fico Asio, but it's written by Brandon Easton. #1 was super shocking, and so this one is kind of like getting us back on track. It's a little tedious, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end.
So you did like it because I think wasn't it based on like the future state stuff, or like it's leading up to the future state stuff?
Yeah, it's leading up to the future state stuff. So once it actually hits that, I'll probably be out of there. I'll probably hit the bricks on that one. But the story so far, like I like it that it's willing to go there and not hold back. Like it just jumped right in. Consequences be damned.
Damn it! You said good. Now I got to pick that. Every time you say something's good, then I got to go like pick it up.
Well, it's Mr. Miracle. I mean, you can't really go too wrong with Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it is going to go into that future state stuff. So.
Oh hey, did you read Infinite Frontier?
No, not interested.
Oh, all kinds of fun stuff. Yes, Flashpoint Batman crashes on.
We just can't leave the Flashpoint Batman alone, can we?
No. Let's see. Alan Scott's about to meet with his family. You know, talk about him coming out of the closet.
That's so cool.
Which Flashpoint? Which best? Is this Jeffrey Dean Morgan Batman, or is this the other Batman?
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, Thomas. Or Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Well, that's who they want to play him in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
from Flashpoint. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. So Flashpoint Batman is crashing on another planet.
Yes, President Superman's parents find him. So.
It's Infinite Frontier. It's where worlds basically collide.
Oh, okay. So it's Secret. It's the second Secret Wars. It's Battle World.
It's Secret Wars. It's Deadpool's Secret Wars at this point.
Universes collide. Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
Yes, he's found by Justice Incarnate.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that Val-Zod?
Yes.
Which black Superman?
That is a disturbing name, Justice Incarnate, because that sounds super villainy.
It's sinister, of course.
I'm going to say that right there. That sounds like a super villain name.
That's like naming your kid Sinestro and expecting him not to be the bad guy.
Yes. It just means left-handed. That's all it means.
And trust me, as a left-handed person, we're all evil to the core.
All right, we're ready for some eye rolls with Hellfire. Who does Barry Allen run into? Psycho Pirate.
Oh, we're still doing Psycho Pirate?
I guess so.
Do people not know we don't like Psycho
see
Pirate?
that things are wrong with the universe?
Yeah, he was part of that whole original Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yeah, it's like we don't like that taste in our mouth. We've been chasing the problems from
what they've been saying, I think they're trying to roll everything back to before every single Crisis, but still keep it modern. So yeah, good luck with that.
Idiots.
Oh, and Lilith. All right, hold your eyeballs in.
They need Ambush Bug.
Roy Harper gets a ring.
A Green Lantern ring?
No, a Black Lantern ring.
Oh, well, that tracks. Okay.
Wait, but he's not dead.
He was dead.
He was dead.
Roy Harper was dead. When did Roy Harper die? Did he die of a drug overdose?
He's died at least 3 times.
He died in what was that? Heroes in Crisis or whatever?
Yeah. He's died at least 3 times, buddy.
That whole Tom King, Heroes.
First off, if you died in like the last 10 years, that doesn't count as a death. That's I missed an episode. That's
whoa.
When you come back from the dead, you should have been dead and decomposing for at least a couple of years in comics time. Heroes in Crisis was literally last week in comics time. Comics time? Maybe like 2 months ago?
Tom King just makes it seem longer.
Okay, yeah, true.
I'm just saying.
Not that I don't love Tom King, but that Heroes in Crisis was...
Yeah, that was a misspot.
Hot dumpster
I'm just saying. And aren't the Black Lanterns supposed to come back all decomposed, all zombified? Why is he looking like all nice and
rosy
cheeks like Tyler?
Got 5 more issues to find out. because he even came back. He was like,
because death is a part of life, and death is rebirth in its own way. Because
the whole multiverse just got rebooted too.
Are we doing another Blackest Night?
I don't know. I mean, the whole multiverse was just destroyed and rebuilt. But who knows?
So sick of it. I don't even know how to tell him. Like, I just hold on to the books that I like, and that's it. It is what it is at this point. I don't care about the whole universe at large anymore.
Hold on.
I can't. It's frustrating.
Just hold on till October, kids. Ben Reilly will be back.
Is that supposed to make us feel good? I don't think that's supposed to make us
supposed
feel
to make feel good.
Hey,
yeah, well, exactly. This is my point about,
hey,
we say nobody wants something.
Nick Spencer's
and
leaving.
Somebody wants it.
Nick Spencer's leaving, and like they've been teasing everything with a picture of
10 of them.
Is Peter gonna die? Because Mary Jane's like kissing his body on the ground. And then you get Spider-Man.
Yeah, Peter will absolutely die for real this time. We mean it.
Mephisto shall have his way.
I know Mephisto's coming to. He's like, hey, you signed the contract, man. But which Mephisto?
If he did, even at this point, honestly, I don't believe anyone is. I'm actually now questioning whether or not Otto actually dealt with Mephisto, or was just someone pretending to be Mephisto.
Oh,
I don't trust the chameleon not to be pretending to be Mephisto.
Lilith, I know you don't care, but at the end of Heroes Return this week, Mephisto said, "Oh yeah, there's 615 other Mephistos."
Of course there are. Why wouldn't there be?
I don't know. I just thought he was like a cosmic being who just went.
He should have said 616, but
Well, he was
because he's the 616 Mephisto. You see, I want to see.
He's not even the real Mephisto. That's the plot twist. That's what I'm saying.
No, he's just the ultimate Mephisto because the ultimate universe is no more.
So we could have a Mephisto and an Uncle Ben Mephisto.
There might be a 616
Mephisto, and they all collide, baby.
Threesome.
They're all fighting.
Threesome.
No, I would pay money for that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'd pay $9.99 for that.
Oh,
well, Aunt May's a Skrull. Who else would Skrull Aunt May marry? But Mephisto
or Jarvis.
No, Jarvis is the one true human left on this earth. Do not besmirch the good name of Jarvis. That man survived Marvel Television to show up in the MCU. You do not F with Jarvis.
In the comic, man, she dated Jarvis real quick around Civil War time.
I know, and he dumped her like a hot rock. He said, "You're a Skrull, Missy. I'm not going to cause you problems."
No, he dumped her and said, "I want to live."
Well, that too, man, quite frankly. The man made it to the MC2, okay? That man don't die.
Exactly.
All right.
He's got some weird crystalline sucking his chest. He's like, no.
No, we're going to save Amazing Spider-Man 69, obviously, for Ultimate Spider-Cast. Obviously.
Yes. And we'll save.
And I can't wait to hear you boys talk about Fantastic Four Life Story number 2 on Superconnectivity, because I haven't read it yet. I want to read it, and then I want to listen to what you guys have to say.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you might like it. She likes stories where people, are horrible and nihilism reigns and nothing matters and everything is rotten. So,
I'm sure when it comes to my Fantastic Four, actually, I'm kind of traditionalist.
Did you like the first issue? If you did, then you'll hate this one.
It's more of the same.
It's as bad, if not worse. It's actually a little bit worse, honestly. It's actually
like the end of 2 for who Sue ends up with.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you like this week's Rick and Morty? If you like this week's Rick and Morty, you might like this.
Oh my god. Okay, no. Just one little side tangent. Can we talk about Mr. Nimbus? And he's definitely Namor. If Namor and Aquaman had a baby, it's Mr. Nimbus. And that's the point.
He controls the cops, man.
He's like, fight! Now bleep!
Oh my gosh, Rick and Morty.
What is going on in the Rick and Morty?
They don't
Somebody
go
check on Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland. See if they're okay.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. It's not the weirdest episode of Rick and Morty I've ever seen.
I like the Rick
that
and Morty.
That would be the dragon one. But
Yeah, I like the Morty and Jessica stuff. I was like, oh, she's a time goddess now. Yes.
Oh no, I love the Jessica. I think they're actually really going to build out Jessica's character now. In
yes,
fact,
I'm excited for it.
I get the feeling she's going to get a uniform. I'm just saying, I saw some clips from a future episode, and it looks like, oh, that character, like that looks like Captain Planet. Maybe that's something. I don't know. Morty's sure looking at her all fancy like he does. So yeah.
I was like, where's the other Beth? That's all I care about at this point.
She's Space Beth. She's back in space.
No,
she comes back when they need
her.
someone to shoot things. That's what Space Beth does.
I thought
Earth
that they would have
Beth's-
traded spaces, especially because her and Jerry were being sex positive.
First off, who says they didn't?
That's what I'm saying. There's no confirmation on it, but that's my head.
I know. How long does it take to grow out your hair? I mean, really. For all we know, they're like rotating.
Well, they were going for like a year, to be fair.
Exactly. That's my
over a
point.
year.
It's like, it's... Now, if she'd come back with a bob, then it would be Mephisto confirmed. But... as it is, yeah. I mean, and honestly, it's not like they don't have Rogaine in this universe. So
true.
It's
but yeah. I don't know. It's not as great as the other premieres, but it was still fun. But it just wasn't as great. It wasn't what I was expecting, I guess.
Well, it was,
and that's kind of the point of Rick and Morty. They never give you what you're expecting.
Here's what I'll tell you. It was fun, and I think it needed to be fun. It was as fun as any mid-level episode, and he's got a lot of comic books, apparently. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, so
He's got a second show to talk about them, too, and I didn't tell him to buy all those comic books.
Well, let's get to the second
I
show.
don't have any, but that's okay. But yeah, I liked Rick and Morty. So did Lilith. Maybe someone else might like it, too.
Oh, so we don't get to talk comics this week because you didn't get any.
Oh, but just shout out to Matt Pat and the Grubhub Cinematic Universe Part 2. Watch it.
Oh, that was delightful. Well, it's a little weird that
they sent it to him, so it's like not sponsored, but they
Grubhub
sent
is
it
basically not spawning Matt Pat by spawning Matt Pat. So it's like, oh, let's play our game, little theorist. So now Grubhub is a supervillain, and Matt Pat is just
caught in the web, baby.
Caught in the web, man. He's just sadly being manipulated. I'm watching. There's a show on with a billionaire and Marilyn Monroe, and the butler from Arthur is his butler in this, so it's weird. Was that Sir John Gielgud? Was it? But it's the same actor, so it's weird to me because it's like I know that guy. He's been 80 since like the 50s. So anyway,
me too.
I have the TV on in the background. It's good to have multiple stimuli so that you can keep yourself.
Do you too
on
have
edge.
the ADHD?
I don't know. I never sat down long enough to pay attention to whether or not I did or not. So,
on that note, so Phil can talk about his comic books elsewhere.
Philip, do you want to talk about a comic book now? Is there something you really need to talk about?
No.
He's just like TikTok, people.
We're only at a minute, too. This always goes over an hour, so.
Oh, that's fine. No, but then everyone else is like, "Oh, why'd we go so long?" Almost.
I don't know. I don't know what the fans say.
It's your fault. You mentioned Supernatural. It's your fault.
Yeah, for real.
I know it's always my fault. Anyway, so send your.
You are the Gelman.
On everything we talked about tonight. Email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find links to all of the social media, links to this YouTube, links to our Patreon, links to merch, all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. And please support all things Southgate Media Group. Go check out southgatemediagroup.com. Go check out the Southgate Media Group Patreon. Lots of free and paid content there. And go pick up Pod Life, the book, now in digital and paperback. Get it on Amazon. And when you do, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, the network, and the man who is constantly rebooting, Rob Masterdoom Southgate.
Make it rain.
No, he is renovating that house. Martha has put him to work.
Why did your eye drift over to my box? Mark my words.
All right, Lilith, where can people talk supernatural with you if they dare?
Oh, if you dare talk about supernatural on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire, on Instagram at Lilith Hellfire69, and in the supernatural hashtag over on TikTok at Lilith Hellfire69.
Not in the face. Bye, Felicia.
Charlie Esser.
Well, you can always write to me in the old-fashioned email way the way our mothers and fathers once said at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And follow me on the Twitters. I live tweet things like Legends of Tomorrow when I remember it and I don't fall asleep at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the two E's in the middle. For what?
For quality.
Bing.
Thank you, Tristan. Thank you, Maz.
The yin to Darkhawk's yang.
Anyway, thank you for joining us for another week, kids. We have been your capes.
Ampersand.
Emphasis on lunatics. Fish in a fish tank?
You see what his shirt says? Just a ray of sunshine. You know who we need to get that for, right?
Who?
Ray.
Oh.
Well, actually, I got it for myself, but yes, if Ray wants to see himself as a thing in it, that's fine by me. I don't.
That's his new name.
Do they make it in